Hi everyone, it's Riya and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be how to add an ombre effect to your calligraphy and lettering. So today I'm going to be showing you three methods of how to do ombre calligraphy. The first method is by adding layered strokes. What I mean by this is overlapping your word as it is, using different amounts of pressure to create dark areas and light areas, which become your ombre effect. What I'm doing here is showing how the word will look at the end. And I'm adding some lines so that I understand where the darkest parts will be, the lightest parts, and any parts in the middle. For this example, I've done it from dark at the top to light at the bottom, but you can do it vice versa or diagonally or however other way you want to. Here is a step-by-step guide on how to do this. Step 1 is to write out your letter. Step 2, add the darkest area, then add the middle area underneath it and the lightest area at the bottom. And here is how it looks overall. This is probably the most popular way of creating ombre calligraphy, as it definitely works and you can see the difference. Basically, this method is just using your pen to go over and shade darker areas and lighter areas. The next method that I've chosen to include is to create dotted effect strokes. If you've seen my font and lettering ideas video, you may understand what I mean by this, as I've included an example of that in that video. But basically what I've done is, using a darker shade of the pen that I started off with, I'm creating dots and adding more dots where I want it to be darker and less dots where I want it to be lighter. And for the markings, I've labelled them as dense, very dense, and no density. What I basically mean by this is how many dots there are in that area, because the amount of dots will affect how dark that area looks. So here is a step-by-step guide for this one. First, obviously start off by writing your letter. Then, using a darker shade of the pen that you started off with, add a clump of compact dots at the bottom or at the top, depending on how you're doing your ombre. Next, add some more dots that are slightly more spaced out. And finally, add just a few dots at the top that are very spaced out. And here is the overall look. I think this is a great alternative to the first option, especially if you're doing it in like some really thin paper, because it bleeds less through the paper. By bleeding, I mean that it goes through to the other side. I also think this is a really quirky and unique way to do it, and the dots look really effective. The last example is the type of pen that you use. So some pens are water-based, which means that they're slightly more liquidy than others. So for example, my Tombow Dual Brush pen, because it's water-based, it sort of automatically creates an ombre effect, This may not be the same for other pens, but it definitely works on mine. So you may want to buy some already ombreed pens. I hope you can see what I mean here, because I've zoomed in to show you the darker part of the letter and the lighter part of the letter without using any shading, and it's just the pen as it is. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please remember to like, subscribe and comment. And here's a funny blooper for you. You already pressed start? Oh, I'll just trim this then. Hi everyone, it's Riya and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be how to add an ombre effect to your calligraphy.